Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry I do not speak your language, so I hope everyone can understand English. If not, I'm sorry. Well, you know, we don't have a lot of time together, so let's make the most of it. And I will start right now by asking for questions. If there's anything you want to know from me, I'll tell you. I have no secrets. So does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
You were talking once about language and how you use the vocabulary about improvisation, and I would like to know more. I'm not a bass player, so I have maybe a general question, but about like how you use this improvisation as a tool in writing or
sure.
dialogues.
How I use language.
No, improvisation. How
I use improvisation as a tool for writing, for music. Sure. Well, you mentioned language. So like language, when you talk, you improvise. Everything you just said was improvisation, right? You had an idea, but you improvised the idea. And it's because you are free with the language. Even though maybe English is not your first language, you're still free with it. You don't have to write it down and practice and then say it. It comes out free. So you're improving. I'm the same way musically. Like that last song I played. Just about everything I played was a song, but I'm free with the song. I can play it forwards, backwards. I can play it differently every time. So for me, that's what improv is. Improv is freedom. It's the freedom to say things however you choose to say it. The mistake that many of us make with improv is we think that improv has to be complicated. If someone says, okay, solo, many of us are afraid because we think it has to be fancy. If I play bass and someone tells me to solo, then already in my mind, I'm comparing my solo to great bass players like Stanley Clarke or Jocko or Marcus. But a solo doesn't have to be difficult. If you're good enough to play a bass part, your solo can be just the bass part. You don't have to play anything more, and it's still a solo. The same way, when it's your turn to talk, you don't have to say anything, and it still may add something to the conversation. Sometimes silence is best. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. If I say, tell me about your mother, tell me how much you love your mother, and you can't find the words, that tells me more than if you were to say something. So sometimes silence is louder. So a lot of the times we think we have to play more when sometimes it's better to play less. And when we play less, we actually say more. So I say that to say improvisation does not have to be difficult. It's just your chance to freely say whatever you want to say. That's how I think of it. I don't know if I answered your question, because I'm not sure what your question is, but hopefully I answered it. Yes. But he has a notebook, which is wonderful to take notes. Does anybody else bring a notebook to take notes? Wonderful. Well, you going to remember everything? What's that mean? You hope so, yes. Great. This is my thought. Whenever you go somewhere with the idea that you might learn something, bring a notepad. Bring something to record. Because it doesn't mean that I might say something brilliant, and maybe I will, but one of you might. And for those of us that want to learn, we're always prepared to take notes or to record. That is a real, how do you say, student maybe. I'm always prepared to jot things down. Because when does inspiration happen? You never know when inspiration may happen. Many of us get a great, brilliant idea, or we hear something and we forget it. So I have a pretty good memory but I still write things down, especially when I go somewhere with the intention of learning and getting better. Always be prepared. So I thank you all for bringing a notepad. Next question. I'm here for you. I can play all night, but the concert is later. Okay, I see, okay. So I won't just play right now. That's later. I think we have a better, don't forget your question, okay? We have a better opportunity. Think about this. This is not my ego, and I'm not bragging. But I am doing what a lot of you would like to be doing. That is, I travel the whole world playing music. Something I love to do. I get to do this. I get paid to travel the world and make people happy with my music. I know a lot of you would like to do that. So let's take a step closer to doing that today. And that is by asking questions. I want to give you what you want, not just what I want. So if you have questions, I'll take them. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, a practical question. I'm a bass player.
Yes.
And I'm a jack bassist. And there's a piece, a portrait of Tracy.
Portrait of Tracy by Jocko, yes.
And my question is very practical, excuse me. What size of your hand? Can you play the D sharp? Da 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 da. The D sharp.
Yes, that one harmonic that you need big hands to hit.
Yes, Jocko.
Jocko has big hands.
Yes,
I will show you an easier way.
I didn't know it in the 80s, you know. We can't see the videos. We are before.
If you can't hit it, change the note.
No.
Jocko won't mind. You know, if your hands don't do it, you either change the way you do it, get a smaller instrument, or I'll show you another way. I'll show you another way to hit that note.
I'm sure you can play this. Yeah, you like Jocko.
Yes.
And how you?
Okay, now I will answer your question. Okay.
And another question.
Okay.
Do you use
No, it's okay. Do I use?
Do you use different tuning?
No.
No.
Standard tuning. E-A-D-G. Standard tuning, yes. Now, Jocko plays a... And he frets a B and stretches up to that D sharp to get that. I hate that. I don't want to be all natural and have to... Right? Here's another way. Fret that note. That same harmonic is here. Touch with my thumb. Much easier. So... Do you see how I'm doing it? I still fret the note the same way Jocko, but that harmonic, all the harmonics that are here, all of them can be found up here also. So there are many ways of hitting them. Once I fret a note, I like to touch with my thumb. Lightly touch and then pluck. Okay? I touch. My good friend Steve Bailey does it. He touches with his finger like this, and then he plucks with the ring finger. I can't do that. That's difficult. Stanley Clark touches with his finger, plucks with his thumb. For me, it's difficult, right? So when I touch with my thumb, I still have these fingers. That's what I'm used to doing all the time. So for me, that's the most natural. This is the most natural. And then I just... So to play Portrait of Tracy, that's how I do it. Or if you wanted to change the note, who cares? One note, change it. Then it's your song. Question. Yeah, yes, sir.
If you play a solo, do you sing inside the notes or?
And when I play a solo, yes, I hear it inside my head. Whether he's asking, do I sing the notes? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I just feel them and I hear them. Like talking. You don't think every word before you say it, but you have an idea. You have an idea of what you want to say, and the words come out on their own. You don't have to think every one. Maybe you do. Like for me, I'm learning Spanish. I have to think every word. That's okay, as long as it comes out okay. But after a while, you become freer, more free with the words. You don't have to think every one. So sometimes I will have a phrase in my head that I want to play. And I may play the phrase, and the notes may be different, but the phrase is still right. Like if I ask you to ask the question again, you may choose different words, but it's still the same question. Many people think that, oh no, I have to get every note right or else it's wrong. I don't think that way. Right? Because for me, I'm a rhythm instrument first, right? Aren't we the rhythm section? I'm the rhythm section. So my goal, me, Victor Wooten, my goal is to get the rhythm and the feel right. I care about that more than I do the note. Because if I get the feel right, just like talking, if I miss a note or miss a word, who cares? That's why I say if you don't like if you can't reach that note, change it. It's still the same song. So if I'm saying something and I miss a word or miss a note, it's still the same part. So I try to get the feel of the phrase, of the solo. And if I miss a note, I don't care. As long as I get the rhythm right and make it feel good, and I want you to be able to do that. That's first. And people don't do that to notes. Right? If I play a C, nobody dances to that. Right? And we try so hard to get the notes right. We're always told, play the right notes. I say play the right rhythm, play the right feel, what I call groove. That's why they call us the rhythm section. They don't call us the note section, the solo section, the get the notes right section. They call us the rhythm section. That means get the rhythm right. Bass, guitar, keys, and drums. Rhythm section. Our job is to set up the foundation, set up what I call the bed, the groove. And then there's other instruments that do the melodies. We can do it, but I say we get the feel right first. So sometimes I may sing something and not play it right, but I make sure that it still feels right. But one of the best ways of learning how to play good melodies is to do what you say, sing it. Because we always will sing good melodies. And I recommend it for bass players. Because a lot of the times bass players, we play sometimes too rhythmic and too short and too choppy. And nobody sings like that. So if you're going to play a melody, sing it first, yes. But after a while, you won't even have to sing it first because you'll just hear it and it'll come out. So I hope that works, yes.
Yeah, Victor, hi. I wanted to actually ask you more about some kind of techniques which you might use when it comes to creating music.
Techniques.
What I mean was you mentioned inspiration early on, and I wanted to know, do you usually feel that there's some kind of inspiration coming your way and then you're going to into the mode of creating your own music, or is it something that you can control? Sure.
Yeah, very good question. He's talking about inspiration and creativity and using a technique, I think you're saying, a technique to get my ideas across. In other words, if I'm writing a song, do I get inspired first?
Yeah, and also, can you control it? Like, because you have to say, okay, I feel inspired now I'm going to my room and come up with some ideas, and then other days you wouldn't.
can you control it? Meaning, can you create the inspiration?
Yes, yes. And if so, how?
And if so, how? The answer is yes. You can control it. You can cause yourself to become inspired. Most people will say no. Inspiration comes whenever it wants. And that is true. Like, you know, playing basketball. I can get on the free throw line, right? No one around, and I can control when it goes in, right? Don't you have control over that? Okay, let's say with basketball. If you're standing on the free throw line, do you have control over whether the ball goes in or not? Yes, by practicing. The more you practice, the more it will go in. You will never hit all of them. So you are in control, but so is something else, right? So it's both, but you can affect it. Inspiration is the same way. If you don't practice it, then making a free throw for you is more luck than it is skill, right? So if you don't practice inspiration and being inspired, then it's more luck than it is skill or a technique. So I'll give you a couple of things. The next time you become inspired and you get an idea, of course, grab that idea, write it down, record it or whatever, but also pay attention to what you feel like. What does your body feel like when you are inspired? A lot of the times, my body tingles, like it vibrates differently. And I notice that, and I pay attention to that. When you get excited, what do you feel like? You feel something, right? So, if inspiration causes your body to feel different and vibrate, maybe causing your body to vibrate will cause inspiration to come. Do it in reverse. You understand? So if I can remember the feeling and I need an idea, think about the idea, make my body tingle, and maybe the idea will come. So that's one way to do it in reverse. Okay? So that's a way of being able to practice it. Another way is to just pay attention. Pay attention to everything. Because my belief is that if you have an idea, the answer is close to you. But in most of the time, we want the answer to come in the way, in the form, in the shape. We want it to look like exactly how we want it. But the answer doesn't always show up that way. Like, let's say I'm looking for the lyric for a new song. I may just be trying to get it in my mind, but it may be on the front page of a magazine. It may be on the third page of a magazine. But if I only want to see it this way, then I'll miss all the other ways that it's showing up. It may show up with something that my child says. But if I'm so focused on one way and I'm not aware of all these other ways, then I may miss it. Make sense?
So you mean like kind of, so like sometimes you have an idea and you work on it and nothing really comes and then you put it aside for a while and you get back to it later on?
Yeah, you put it, yeah, if you have an idea, you're working on it and it's not coming, you can put it aside and come back to it later. But if you put it aside, still be aware of everything around you, because your idea the answer might be over there rather than right here on the paper. It may come over there. The boat is going by and I see the word on the boat and I go, that's what I was looking for. You just have to be aware, because I believe that life is always trying to answer your questions. Like, for example, how many people here have perfect pitch? Anyone have, perfect pitch? Anybody have it? No. How many people would like perfect pitch? I would. Okay, how many people would like their ears to be better? Like have better relative pitch? All right. How many people that want better ears, how many of you have a cell phone? How many of you own a cell phone? Okay, great. So a lot of you have a cell phone and you want better ears. How many of you know what pitch your cell phone ring is? Okay, I see one hand. I see a lot of this. That doesn't mean either you know it or you don't. Okay, so listen. Again, we want better ears. But many of us think we only get better ears when we practice music. Your cell phone rings many times a day. You could be practicing many times a day. That's what I mean by life is giving us the answer, but we don't see it. Every time I get in my car and I start the car, my car tells me to put on my seatbelt. How does it tell me? It goes ding, 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 ding. Every time. It's a G. But I know that. So every time I get in my car, my ears get better. Right? I don't wait until I have my bass in my hands. Yes, my ears get better now too. But most of my day, I don't have my bass. But every day there's music in the ocean, in the cars going by, in the babies crying, in the birds singing, in my cell phone, when my microwave tells me the food is ready. My turn signal is 87 beats per minute. I just know that, right? There's always ways to get better. If I say I want better ears, the world says, okay, I'll give it to you. But we don't pay attention. So for me, there is no reason to never not be inspired. Inspiration is life. Everything is inspiration. It's up to us to see it. It's up to us to receive it. That's why I say you can practice it and get better at it. Make sense? Okay. Yes, sir.
It's the most beneficial way to get better as a musician and a bass player. You know, there's getting deeper into music theory maybe, or learning songs without any sheet music,
Sure.
practicing with the metronome, or how should I build up a practice session to be
Yes.
ideal?
The best way to get better at music as a musician, and you play bass?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just repeating the question so everyone hears it. Is it learning theory? Is it practicing? Whatever, you know. The answer is yes, 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 and yes. But let's turn it into language, since we talked about language. What language do you speak? Is it called Hungarian? Okay, let's say I want to learn Hungarian. What would you say would be my number one best way to learn it? Anybody? To speak, go in a room by myself and talk? I don't know Hungarian. How can I talk? What?
Stay here and listen to us talking.
Stay here and listen to you talking. Yes. And then try to speak with you. Now, would the best way be for me to get a book and learn Hungarian theory? No. That's good. Learn alphabet, nouns. But that's not the best way. Would the best way be for me to lock myself in a room and try to practice Hungarian all day? No. Because even if I learn it, when I come out of the room, you'll know that I'm not Hungarian. Because I'll be speaking with an accent. No matter how much I practice by myself. The best way, like you said, is to get with a bunch of Hungarian people. And communicate with people much better than me. Listen to the pros, listen to the best, and become one. Jam, basically jam with you guys. Right? Isn't that how you learned as a baby? You jammed with professionals. Right? They didn't put you in the beginning Hungarian speaking class. Your parents didn't say, okay, go talk to some babies for a few years. And when you're ready, I'll talk to you. They didn't say that. No, they jammed with you, even as a baby, even when you were wrong. Even when you were a beginner, you never knew you were a beginner. And when you said words incorrectly, they didn't care. They didn't scold you, get you in trouble. They talked to you anyway. That's the best way. So I would say musically, if there is a best way, I would say get together with people and play. But don't stop doing the other stuff. Still learn your theory. Learn how to read. Practice in your room by yourself. But then jam with people. So when you put all the pieces together, you grow fast. But jamming and playing with people is number one for me. Yes. You play bass?
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Come for a minute. Beautiful, Zoltan. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. So Zoltan, what did we just say was probably the best way to get better at learning music? What is the number one way?
Jamming with the pros.
Jamming with the pros. Okay. So think about babies that are learning to speak a language. When they don't have anyone to talk to, what do? Say it again. Somebody heard. They talk to themselves. Yes. But they're not talking to themselves. They're talking to imaginary people. So they are having imaginary, real conversations with people. If they were talking to themselves, they would be doing all the talking. But if you listen, they'll talk, they'll stop, they'll wait for an invisible response, and then they talk again. They're having real conversations. So when they don't have anyone to talk to, they imagine talking to people, and they get better quickly. So if you don't have anyone to play with, if you imagine it, the same thing will happen. You will play better. Watch. Okay, so now, do you have a drummer that you like to play with?
Yes.
What's his name? Her name? Adam. Imagine Adam is here on stage playing drums. Okay? Now, if Adam is here playing drums, you're going to feel that, right? You may feel the air move. You'll definitely hear it. So I want you to feel it, hear it, and I want you to see Adam. Okay? But I also want you to see the keys, hear the horn player. I want you to imagine all of it and let them play first. But really imagine it, hear it, feel. And once they're playing, then join them. But let them start. So what I want you to do now is think about the bass. None. Zero. Even if the note's wrong, we don't care. I just want to see how good your imagination is. So let Adam and the rest play first, and then play with them.
Should I play the same thing or?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever they're playing, they'll tell you what to play. Okay? Whatever they're playing. Right? Don't listen to the bass. Can you hear the difference? It's easy, right? The first time, I can tell he's a good bass player, but I can also tell he's thinking about the bass, right? He's playing a nice groove, and before he would do a little feel, and the timing would mess up. But when he's playing with a good drummer, the drummer he's thinking of, he will never think about playing with a bad drummer. The drummer he imagines will have perfect timing. And if he plays with them, he'll have perfect timing. If he's playing with a good drummer and a good keyboard player, he won't do all the fills because there's no room for it. What there is room for is bass, and that's what he plays. So all of a sudden, he became the perfect bass player. Not through practice, not through a metronome, through hearing it. Most of us, when we play by ourselves, we're playing by ourselves. But you play better with people. And if you don't have people, imagine it. And as you see, you will play better. It's that simple. It really is. We think it's difficult, but it's that simple. And believe it or not, give me a 10-year-old child, and he'll do the same thing. He or she will do the same thing. Why? Because most of us, let's say I'm a teacher and I get a 10-year-old kid. Most teachers will treat that 10-year-old kid as a beginner. But that 10-year-old child has been listening to music for 10 years or more. They're not a beginner. Maybe they're a beginner on the bass, but not with music. And our goal is to teach them music, right? So they're not a beginner with music. They're 10-year veteran. So we just have to get them to express music through the instrument. And it can be done the first day. As soon as they can play one note, they can play music. 2 notes, they can play a lot of music. 3 notes, they're ready for a gig. No, joking. But as you see, it's not that difficult to do it. Now, you've been playing how long? 12 years or so? How long?
I've been playing guitar for 5 years and bass since September.
Bass since September. Also, guitar for longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been playing his instrument a long time. Why is he still thinking about it? It's now time to think about music. And as you see, if he thinks about music, he's a perfect bass player. And we can all do it. So for me, it's what's going on here. If you get it here first, it'll come out right here. Many of us try to do it backwards. We want our fingers to do it enough times so that our brain gets it. I say if your brain gets it, your fingers will do it immediately. So I practice in this direction, not this direction. It makes sense? Thank you, Zola. Yes. Hi.
I would like to know, do you think many musicians or music teachers approach music like a language?
Do I think many teachers or musicians approach music as a language? Yes and no. I think we do, but not consciously. I don't think we're aware of it. And I believe if we were more conscious of it, we could improve faster. If I take the same rules of how I learn to speak and apply them to music, then I learn music faster. And so my answer is yes and no. What about you? What do you think about that? Do you think many teachers, or do you? How do you think of music?
Recently, I think my way of thinking about it is changing.
Your way of thinking about it is changing. So how is it? In what direction is it changing?
It is changing into
thinking of music as a language?
I've been taking piano lessons with my teacher now for 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
If I think back about the beginning times, and now I realize that I think he was always thinking about music as a language.
Your teacher, your piano teacher, was thinking about music as a language, but you weren't.
Right.
But now you didn't understand it, right?
Yeah.
Well, many times when we're teaching a person music, we teach them a lot of rules. And we teach them the right way. But when a child is learning to talk, we don't teach them any way. We just let them do it their way. But we're always providing the example. And without even teaching them, they learn the right way. Another thing that we don't do with children is we don't correct them too much. When a baby or is 1 or 2 years old and they want to learn a word and they say it a little wrong, we don't say, no, you have to say it this way. We don't do that. We let them say it wrong because it's cute, right? And we actually start saying it wrong like them. We say it wrong too. Because it's not a problem, it's cute, we know that they'll get it. But in music, if I teach you a C major scale and you play a C sharp, I say, no, don't play that. That's wrong. And all of a sudden, you become a little bit afraid of being wrong. And when you become afraid of being wrong, you won't allow yourself to be 100% right because of afraid of being wrong. So, and then over the years of being told what's wrong, we become more and more afraid. That's why if I come up and ask you to play, most of us come up here with fear because I might mess up and there's people watching. Oh no, you know, but why? It's just music. It's just expression. Music is a way to express myself. I should never be afraid of that. Right? There's only 12 notes that we use, at least in Western music, only 12. I should be able to use those 12 notes any way I choose, but we're afraid of being wrong. So when I look at how I learned to speak English and apply that to how I want to approach music, I become free. If I say the wrong word in English, who cares? Right? But if I play the wrong word in music, now I'm afraid that you heard it. Oh no, you know. So I had to learn how to not care. And then I became more and more free. And now I just express myself. And how you express yourself is individual. And there's no real way to honestly express yourself. So my approach to music is like a language, yes. Yes, sir.
Any questions about your unique technique with your thumb?
Yes.
I was curious, how you built like a road bump on your thumb. You play the string down and also upward.
Sure.
I tried a few times, but for me, I don't know, how long time did it take for you to get control of that technique?
So he's asking about a technique, what a lot of people call double thumbing, using my thumb in both directions. And how long did it take me to learn it? I don't know how long it took. My brother Reggie, who's playing guitar with me tonight, he was right back there, but he left. He's the one that taught me to play. And he taught me to use my thumb the same way he uses a guitar pick. So for me, it's not a new technique. It's an old technique that guitarists have used forever. How long it took, I don't know, because I was really young when he taught me. So I just want to hear you do it. Will you do it for me? Are you learning how to double thumb?
I tried.
Let me see you try.
I sort of pick it down
Okay.
where they put together the same pressure.
Okay. So when I see him do it right now, I can tell that he is practicing a technique, which is good. You want to practice the technique. But I can also tell that he knows how to do it because he did it correctly. Once you know how to do it, stop practicing it and start doing it. If I know how to swim, it's no good for me to sit on the side of the pool and do this in the air. I need to do it in the water. That's how I get better. So now I would suggest that he put on some music, a drum machine or something, and start doing it. And then it'll get better very quickly. So can I see you double thumb again? Now do it twice as fast, double time. Tick it, tick it, tick it, tick it, tick it, tick it, tick it. Now, let me show you. I think that's one way of just using the thumb. That's good. There's a lot of guitar players doing that. But when we think of slapping, we don't slap like this. We do like that. So now try to put a little bit more. Okay. Now, like a guitar player. When the thumb hits, it stops on that string. A guitar player who wants to play that string, they won't strum all the way here. They'll stop right here. So see if you can go through it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Go through. Push through. Push through. Yeah. Okay. So now that's about as long as I practice. Literally. I don't practice much more than that, because now that I know what to do, I start using it, right? If you teach me, somebody teach me a Hungarian word. How do you say thank you?
Köszönöm.
Kusana? Köszönöm.
Köszönöm.
Köszönöm. Köszönöm. Okay. So for me, I need to practice it a little. Köszönöm. Köszönöm. Okay, köszönöm. Stop practicing. Right? Practicing should I go sit in a corner and say it 100 times? No. I need to use it now. Now when I go to the restaurant, when I go on stage, I need to use it over and over. Now that I know what it is, what's going to make me really learn it without an accent is to use it. If I use it and people don't respond, then I must be saying it wrong. But I don't know if I'm saying it wrong practicing by myself. So I have to use it. So in other words, with this technique, he now needs to start using it. Yes? So we need like a drum machine that goes. Listen to the drums. Just go down and up. Down. Right? Now get more of your arm into it, like slapping. Yeah, now twice as fast. Double time. Perfect, perfect. Perfect. Now forget that and let me hear you do any of your normal thumb technique. Anything you normally do. Okay, stop. Does he hear the drummer? No. Can't you tell? You can tell he's playing a technique. He's not playing music yet. So do the same thing, but do it with a drummer, an imaginary drummer. Stop. Can't you tell the difference? It's instant. You can tell the difference, right? Yes. Right. It's from the first, we're like, yeah. Right? Okay, so, again, hear the drummer and do it again. That was perfect. Keep going. Doesn't that feel much better? Right. Okay. Now, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Okay. Now, listening to the drummer, when you're ready, I just want you to go and back. Just a little. With the drum. Perfect, but I want you to double thumb. Don't think about it. Think of the drummer. Don't think of the technique. I want you to double thumb, not thumb pull up. Yes. But don't think about it. Just let it happen. Only the drummer. Just think of the drummer. No. Okay, play the line. Like, and then a little. Just a little. Just right. Just stick it in a little. Yes. Now go back. Right, keep going. Keep going, don't stop. Right? This is like learning to swim in the water. Now he's making music with it. And the music and the drummer will make him get better faster than just practicing it on its own. Right? If it's not working, then you stop the music and you practice more. And as soon as you know what it is, then you play music. That's the fastest way to learn. What's your name? Personal. So really quickly, let me answer his question so that everyone can see. My brother Reggie taught me how to use my thumb the same way as a guitar pick. So if I want to thumb the low E string, I go diagonal, slightly in towards my body, and my thumb goes through the E string and stops on the A string. So now my thumb is touching the A string. Okay? And that way, if I want to, I come up and I pull the string with my thumb on the way up. Now, once I know that, I stop practicing and I put a beat to it. In my head, there's no drummer. So even if I mess up, the rhythm is still good. Even if I mess up the technique, I still have good rhythm. Because we have to do that on stage. You mess up, your rhythm still has to be good. Then I do it on every string. Even when I mess up. If I'm making too many mistakes, slow it down. Then I want to add my left hand so that both hands work together. Right? And I just want to get music in it. So that's just double thumbing. But then I can add a pluck to it. So I can go down, up, pluck. Down, up, pluck. Down. Or two plucks. The key, very important, is when I go down, up, pluck, it should be one upward motion. It's not down, up, pluck, down, up, pluck. It's down, up, pluck. Down, up, up. So on the way up, one motion. Up. Not. Then I can add hammer with my left hand. So let's say I hit an open string, open A, hammer E, then pluck. Open, hammer, pluck. Or open, hammer, up with my thumb, pluck. Open, hammer, up, pluck. But the key, again, is to make it musical, right? It's like a word. You have to use it. So these techniques are like words. We have to put them into music. Cool? Okay, what else? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you about this. This double thumbing technique with the second pluck.
Yes.
I'm having trouble mastering that. Could you expand on that a bit?
Sure. Use it musically. He's talking about instead of one pluck, two plucks. Yeah, you just got to find a way to use it musically. You know, I mean, you know how to do it. If you pluck once, you just pluck twice. Pluck with other finger. But now, what are we going to do with it? Right? You will only get so good. It will take you a long time. It will take you a longer time to get good at it if you don't have a use for it. Like, you could teach me 20 Hungarian words, but if I don't use them, I won't get good at them as fast. But if you teach me 20 words that make a sentence, then I will remember those words. So you need to put some music on and play with it. Or come up with music that helps you get better. When I was practicing this technique as a youngster, I wrote a song so that I could practice my thumb technique. I just turned it into a song. And the song is this. This was my practice song. That's all thumb down. Now open and hammer. The next part is open, hammer, and then my thumb comes up. So down, up, down, up, down, down. But it's musical. Same technique, different notes. So I made music. Open, hammer, pluck, different notes. Different technique. And so on. So I made a song so that I could practice, because I hate practicing. So to sit there and just do the technique, for me, is no fun. Playing music is fun. So I make music as practice. So I urge you to find something, a way of practicing. See, when I play music and I mess up, I still have to keep going. When I practice, I stop if I mess up. But on a gig, on a show, I can't stop when I mess up. So I practice, not stop. Sudden, practicing is fun. It's like, wow, I could do this all day because it's music. Music is fun. So that's how I practice. I practice musically. You again. Yes.
Sorry, Victor. Actually, I know this question is actually not for me. You said the way to get better is to play with people who are much better than you.
Yeah, playing with people that are better than you, but also play with some people that aren't as good as you, because then you're helping them get better too. Thank you.
Actually, I have a friend here who is very shy to ask you what I want to ask you.
Where's your friend?
She's sitting right here.
Right? And he has a question?
No, actually,
he's afraid to ask me the question?
He's afraid to go up and to go.
He's afraid I'm going to call him up here. Okay, I won't call you up. Okay, what's the question?
No, the thing is, like, it would be very inspirational for him to stand next to you and have you show him
But is there a question?
To show him something.
What?
Inspire him.
What? I mean, that's what I'm here for. Hopefully everything I say is inspiring. Yeah, no, if you have a question, ask it. I'll be happy to answer it. If you come up with a question. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, in the beginning, I was very happy to you mentioned that you learn Spanish right now.
I'm trying. Trying to learn Spanish. See.
I was trying to formulate my question. What I really want to know, what is my question?
Yes.
What happens is I started playing bass when I was like 20 years ago. I was like 18 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
I skipped a lot of time. I was without playing the bass, and I've been this last 1 or 2 years, I got it back.
So you started about 20 years ago when you were 18.
Yeah.
But you stopped playing, and now for the last couple of years,
Yes.
you're coming back.
And with me, it's the same with Spanish. I learned Spanish many years ago, too many years.
Okay.
And I don't know how to put that, but if you have any idea how to, for example, how is it that you tackle Spanish? If you have any techniques or approach to do
Sure.
something at not like older age, but
Sure.
you get that question.
I think you think it's a problem because you're older and you feel that you skipped a lot of time.
I'm over being afraid.
Good. Okay. Here's the thing. What is music about for you? What is music?
Just expressing what I feel.
Right. So have you skipped expressing how you feel? Did you skip that for 20 years?
I did stop.
You stopped what?
What do you mean? I mean,
You stopped playing the bass.
yeah.
But music's not about playing the bass. Music, you told me, is about expressing how you feel. And you've been doing that your whole life. Now that you're 20 years older, you've been doing it more than you were back then. So in actuality, you're probably better at music now. Right? You just haven't played the bass. But what music is about, you're better at it. Right? Music is not about fancy techniques. It's about expressing yourself. Right? Because you're 20 years older, you have more stories to tell. Right? You've fallen in love. You've had your heart broken. You had your house broken into. You've had a lot of happiness, a lot of heart setback. You have more stories to tell. That's what people want to hear. The only people that want to hear this stuff is other bass players. Those are the only people that want to hear that. And the other bass players will never hire you. So why do you want to play for them? Right? You want to tell people what you feel. And you've been doing that a long time. And when you know how to express yourself, you don't need all this stuff to do it. Why have we listened to B.B. King, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley? Why have we listened to them for 40, 50 years? Is it because of technique? No. It's because they're expressing themselves. And you can do that. So forget the fact that you haven't played this for 20 or however long. Who cares about that? I don't want to hear. If I go to see you play, I don't want to hear this. I want to hear you. And there's more of you now. So you just have to express that. Does that make sense? And to do it on a bass is really easy. It's one note. You play bass?
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's easy. One note at a time. Right? It's not like chords. It's not 10 fingers. It's not like 4 limbs. It's one note at a time. So easy. So when you can really express yourself, everyone will want you in their band. Right? If you just learned a lot of techniques, then you'll be good for YouTube or something like that. But if you learn to express yourself one note at a time with a lot of feel, everyone will want you in their band. Then you'll be like Lee Sklar, Chuck Rainey, Nathan East, Randy Jackson, Daryl Jones. Those are the guys that everybody wants. Michael Manring too, because you feel him, right? You hear it, people think of me for this kind of stuff. And believe it or not, I don't get gigs because of it. But the guys who don't do this are getting all the gigs, right? Bass players buy my records because this is impressive to bass players only. But if you really make it feel good, everybody wants you in their band. Any female bass players here? Any female bass players? You play? How, excuse me?
Started to.
When did you start?
In November.
In November. So you're a new bassist. Did you play an instrument before bass?
Piano for
For a long time?
a little time.
For a little time. Any other female bass players? No? Okay. When I meet a female bass player who's been playing 5 years or more, I don't ask them if they're in a band. I ask them, how many bands are you in? And they'll tell you 2 or 3. Because females, when they learn to play bass, or really any instrument, they learn, I'm going to say, the right way. They don't care about that. That's a guy thing. We want to impress each other, you know. Women, they know, okay, I can't win doing that, so I'll just play music. And they play it one note at a time, and it's perfect. And everyone wants them in their band. Because the people who hire bass players don't care about this stuff. They don't care about that. They want you to play the bass line. Right? And females do that and never stop. And so I always ask how many bands you're in. If you ever meet a female and she's been playing for 5 years or more, ask how many bands you're in. You'll be surprised. All right? So you have it. You just got to do the right thing with it. Okay, I have to get ready and go. So a few more questions. I want to answer them all if I can. Yes?
I would like to ask you, have many people joined in the battlefield already?
Have many people joined me on the battlefield? Yeah, there's a lot of people join me, and there's many people even before me that have done it. He heard me do a TED Talk. And on the TED Talk, I mentioned something about how countries... is there anyone that doesn't know what TED Talks are? Okay, it's a thing online. If you go to TED.com or TED.org, TED, there's a lot of inspirational talks. People just talk for 20 minutes at a time about anything, and they're all inspiration. Well, I was fortunate enough to be asked to do one. And so at part of the talk, I was speaking about music and things, but I talked about how countries develop bombs to hurt each other, you know, to protect our borders, and you know, but I said, has anyone developed a love bomb, a bomb we can drop on people that make someone fall in love with you, almost like a Cupid bomb? And I said that I think we have it, and it's called music. And music does exactly that, you know? And so on part of it, you know, I said, you know, I can't remember what I said, but I encourage people to join me on the battlefield, you know, and let's drop music and love around the world. So he's asking, has anyone joined me? And I have many, yes, there are many people around the world doing exactly that. Yes, sir.
How find your way on the instrument? I mean, there are many examples.
How do I find my way?
When will we refer to another famous bass player?
How did I get my own voice? Sure, just like you talking, right? You all speak Hungarian, but you don't sound like him. You don't sound like her. You sound like you. So maybe I'm trying to learn Hungarian. I asked you the same question. Man, you speak so well. You're amazing. How did you get your voice? What would your answer be? You're right. You just talk. Absolutely. You're not trying. You just talk. Yes, there you go. Music as a language. I just play. I'm not trying to sound like me. I'm not trying to not sound like Stanley Clarke. I just play. Here's the thing. You have your own voice, whether you realize it or not. You might think you sound like Jocko. I'm here to tell you, you don't. Right? You think you sound like Marcus. You don't. You might sound like you trying to sound like Marcus, but we know it's not Marcus. So the thing is, right? Don't we? So the thing is to realize you have your own voice. So my goal is never to find my voice, but it's to improve the voice I have. When you were a child learning how to talk, it wasn't about, oh, my voice needs to sound deeper. Let me make it sound. No. It wasn't about the tone or your voice. It was about having something to say. So with a language, it's more important what you have to say. That's what's important. And if you have something good to say, people will listen and not even care about your voice. Anybody know the singer Bob Dylan?
Yep.
Horrible voice. But who cares? Because what he has to say is important. Right? So it's more important of what you have to say, and then people will love whatever voice you have.
How to learn not to care.
How to learn not to care. Not to care has nothing to do with music. It's your life. It's all parts of life. It's like you care so much that you don't care. Do you have kids?
Not yet.
Have some kids. No, but when you have kids and you see all the mistakes they make, but you love them anyway, you don't care. You don't care because you care so much. You love them so much that if they make a mistake, if they knock over your favorite bass, it's okay. Because love is bigger than you're caring about the one little mistake. So if I'm playing music and I make one mistake, why should that ruin my whole night? Because I care so much about what you think? Wow, really? I would really give you that much power over me? That one mistake can ruin my whole night? So I just say, look, I don't care what you think. I'm just going to give you me. If you don't like it, that's your choice. My choice is to be me. And what you think is out of my hands. And maybe you don't buy my record. Maybe you do. But I still make the record that makes me happy. So when I die, I'm happy. What you think about me is up to you. So even if I only have two fans and I sell 2 records, they love me for who I really am. Not some person that's just trying to be fake so that you can be happy. No. I just do what I do. And if I mess up, big deal. I'll get it right maybe next time. Or I'll find out that my mistake was better than what I meant to play. And so I go back and I learn how to make that mistake every time. Right? See, a mistake doesn't mean it was wrong or bad. A mistake just is something I didn't mean to do. Right? And when I play, I don't want to do everything I mean to do. I don't want to play perfect. Imagine if you could live your whole, like if before you were born, you could plan your whole life out. You could plan it out, and then you lived your life and everything went according to plan. Imagine that. It sounds good, but you'd be bored. You would not be happy. It would be too boring. Life is fun because you don't know. Right? Oh, I didn't know I didn't know I was going to meet her. Oh, I almost got in an accident, but I didn't. I'm still here to talk about it. Those are the joys of life because you don't know. Playing is the same way. I don't want to know everything. And the way I get better is by making mistakes but keep going anyway. If you could play football and score a goal every time you tried, it wouldn't be fun. Right? You might think it would be, but it would not be. You have to miss a bunch. That's why they celebrate so hard when they score a goal. It's because they miss most of them. Right? But imagine if they cared every time they miss so much that they become afraid. It wouldn't be fun anymore. So what they do, what our football players do, is they give us their best. And we celebrate them for trying, even on the games they don't score. Because we understand, like children, how hard the struggle is. And we love them anyway. So for music, I do it like that. Okay, that was the long answer. Really quickly, here's the short answer. My sound guy is back there, and he's getting mad at me because I'm supposed to go. And he's like looking at his watch saying, come on, Victor, we gotta go. Okay, check this out. Here's the thing. When most of us play music, we think it's about us. What's your instrument? It's not about you. The song you play is not about you. Okay? You play in a band? What? Not currently. If you play with people, especially if you have a singer, when that person starts singing, there's nobody listening to you. Right? Relax. The key, though, is if you want to not be nervous, if you want to not be afraid of messing up, take your own attention, take your focus off of you. And I'm not going to be worried about what I'm doing. I'm just going to say, I'm going to make that guitarist, I'm going to make that singer sound great tonight. I'm going to make her so happy that she hired me. I'm going to play for the song, for the vocalist, right? I'm going to make sure nobody even looks at me. They're all going to look at her singing. Play the bass part. Don't you know the bass part? Yes, then play the bass part. He's asking, what if there's a solo? You get afraid because, oh no, now everyone's looking at me and I have to go up high and I have to play like Stanley Clark, or I have to do that Victor Wooten double thumbing thing. I saw him at a clinic, I better try it. No. If you're playing bass line, there's a song we love called Brick House. Right? That's the bass line. When the person sings, they sing over that bass line. If somebody else solos, they sing over that bass line. When people dance, they're dancing to that bass line. Never abandon it. If everyone stops, the best thing you can do is that. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go up here, because if you go up there, people will stop dancing. Right? So just do the bass line. Right? And when it breaks down to drums and bass, you know what the audience will do? If you keep grooving, all right? Think about it. There's horns, there's singing. When they all stop and it's drums and bass, they'll start doing that and they'll get happier. Because if a song is grooving and you give the audience space, they will fill the space. They'll enter into that space and they'll dance harder, they'll start cheering, and they'll clap. Right? So there's never a reason to be afraid of that. But if you go up here and start doing this stuff, they'll start listening. And if you're not giving them anything to listen to, they'll stop dancing and go to the bathroom or whatever. But if you just make it groove, which is what they want, they'll groove harder. So make your solo about the song, not about you. That makes sense? Don't make it about, this is what I learned how to do the other day. Don't make it about that. Make it about the song and go, here's what the song's about. Boom, 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 boom. That's what it's about. If you play for the music, not for you, for the people that paid, making them happy, making the song greater, then you'll be less nervous, you'll be less afraid to mess up, and you'll smile rather than shake in fear. Yeah. So take the attention off yourself. Take the focus off yourself, even during your solo. Right? Your solo should be about the song. Okay. One more. Yes?
How many times do you practice sing?
How many times do I practice?
Yes.
Okay. Music and language. Man, you speak Hungarian. So amazing. I wish I could do that. How many times a day do you practice? Every day. Huh? When you're speaking, right. Your speaking is your practice.
But you are going to journey every day. So how many times you have to practice?
It's the same. Really. I mean, you want an answer. Like you think I'm going to say, man, I make sure 45 minutes every day. I run scales for 15 minutes. I practice sight reading for 12 and a half minutes. That's what you want, but it's not there. I don't know anybody that does that. Like even my brother Reggie, when we get sometimes on the tour bus, it looks like he's practicing, but he's playing. He may be sitting on the bus watching TV, but his practicing is his play. For me, on tour, we do a sound check every day. Then we do a concert, a couple hours, 3 hours maybe. For me, and then a lot of times I do workshops like this. That's enough. Right? If I play all day, I have nothing to talk about for the concert except music. But like where I live, we don't have this. Right? Everything is different. I don't have these bridges, the boats going by, the food that we ate for dinner is all different. So for me, that's inspiration. That's things to play about. So when I play here tonight, my music's different. But if I didn't do any of that, I didn't pay attention, and I just do this all day, for me it becomes stale. It becomes lifeless. So I don't have a practice routine. But I am right now having to learn music for a concert I have in September. I have a concert with a symphony in Tennessee where a woman and I wrote an electric bass concerto for electric bass and symphony. And we just finished writing it, but now I have to learn it. Right? And there's a difference in writing it and actually learning where it is. And there's a lot of cadenzas, and the parts that aren't written are the electric bass parts. Some of it is, but I have to come up with a bunch of things and be ready to perform it. So I'm working on that. And so what I do is I have the sheet music also, but even before I looked at the score, I've just been listening to it. I had it playing last night while I was sleeping so that I learn the music. I want to learn this music like I know Michael Jackson. I want to be able to sing it. And then learning it on the instrument is easier. So now I'm just getting these melodies and things under where my fingers are. But I already kind of know it. I don't know it totally, but I listen a lot first. And so I am kind of practicing that. But like I practice some of the melodies, and then I put the score on with the electronic computer symphony, and then I play it with them, right? And then once I get it pretty good, I will get to the point where in my mind, I will start performing it. I don't want to get in front of the orchestra for the first time when I'm really in front of the orchestra. So at one point, once I know it well enough, I will start imagining it, meaning I will stand up, and I will imagine an audience there. I will imagine the orchestra behind me and to my left, and I will perform it. And then I will invite a few friends in, and I'll perform it for them, So by the time I'm in front of the real orchestra, it's not my first time. That's how I practice. Cool? If anyone could give me a word to describe music, and it can be in English or Hungarian, but if you could give me a word, your choice of what music is to you, what would your word be? Anybody?
Sacred.
Sacred?
Fun.
Fun? Spirit?
Friendship, I usually say.
Friendship?
Yeah, because we
Beautiful.
together.
Yeah, whatever. It's not a test. Yes, it's great. Life.
Freedom.
Freedom, I hear you. Jazz. What is it?
A chance.
A chance. A chance. I like that.
Expression.
Expression.
Energy.
Energy. What?
Success.
Success. Yeah.
Colors.
Colors.
A dream.
Free.
A dream.
A dream. Beautiful.
Love.
Love. Yes. And we could keep going and going. And the words are beautiful. And I've been asking the same question literally around the world when I get a chance to do things like this. And the words are always beautiful. And, sometimes I hear a few new words, but I know what they're going to be. It's always going to be beautiful. And I'm always happy to hear them, but I'm not surprised anymore. But what I'm always surprised at the words that you don't give me. No one ever told me that music was techniques, double thumbing, theory, fear, practice, all the things you ask about. No one even mentioned the bass. Most of you probably play bass. How come nobody mentioned it? Because you know that all these things, modes, scales, theory, tech, you know that that's not music. Somewhere deep inside, you actually know none of that is music. What music really is are these beautiful words. So how come when we come up to play, we don't even think of those words? That means by our own definition of what music is, we don't even think of it when we play. But we expect people to hear it. How can people hear it if we don't? So if you know what music is, and you do, because it didn't take you long to come out with those words, that's what you should be thinking about. That's what you should be feeling every time you play. When you practice, that's your goal. When you play, that's where you are. Now, it doesn't mean you don't practice your techniques. Of course, you want to learn your skills. You want to think about and overcome your fear. But you understand that those things are just tools. Those things are not music. Double thumbing is not music. It's a technique to get you to where the music is, to help you express music more. So don't ever forget what music really is to you. And if you keep that at the forefront of your mind, then you will be like Marcus Miller, Stanley Clarke, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and things like that. And then you'll have an audience, and people will listen. Okay? Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And you had a question?
Just a favor.
A favor.
If you can get me a signature.
I'll sign. Yes, I will give you a signature.
Thanks.
I hope to see you at the concert tonight. I have my brother Reggie playing guitar. He's the one that taught me. He's my teacher. So I say, if I play something that you don't like tonight, you can talk to Reggie. My good friend Dorico Watson on drums. Any drummers in the house? Cool. When you listen to Dorico, notice that he's only using one kick drum pedal, only one pedal. He makes it sound like two, but it's only one. A good friend of mine, Carlton Taylor, on keyboards, and a great singer, Crystal Peterson, with my friend back there, Jack Trefiro, running the sound. So thanks a lot for listening. I may have a time to sign a few things. I will have a lot more time when the show's over. We have some CDs tonight, Jack? Yeah. So because I have to go, if anybody is coming to the show, I'd love to sign something for you after the show. But if not, I'll try to do it right now on my way out. Okay? Thank you for your help. Everyone here at A38 for allowing us to be here. They did all the work. We just had to show up. So we thank you for that. Thanks a lot, you all.